Everybody. So nice to see you, and thank you for joining us. We've got some very familiar faces, and some people I haven't seen in a while, but it's exciting. And some people I just saw just a short time ago. We had a wonderful retreat out in Southern California, and we plan on doing a lot more of these. So, guys, everybody's muted. I'm going to go into speaker view, and I am then going to share my screen with a little presentation. Okay. And we'll do this for a while. And then what we'll do is we'll take your questions and answers. And as I explained before we started, on this particular one, we're going to talk about sensible substitutions for the foods that we're going to be eliminating. This is essentially an elimination diet. And the things that we're going to attempt to eliminate for about 3 weeks are foods that are notorious for inflammation in the body. Now, if you're anything like me, you take generally good care of yourself, but then when the holidays come, it's like, all hell breaks loose, and you start eating, I start eating the gluten that I usually successfully stay away from. I definitely go to the sweets, to the dairy. And then in the beginning of the year, we all have that wonderful resolve to do something different. And it just wasn't happening for me. So it's great that we can do these resets. We have a group to do it with. I'm heading it up, so I feel like I have to be accountable, but you guys are not accountable. If you want to be, let me know. It's really okay. I see Cynthia's raising her hand. If you want to be, that's fine. I'm not really, I can tough love somebody if I need to. The Academy people know as academic director, I sometimes have to tough love, but I'm really more of a gentle soul. And so I want to motivate you and inspire you and inform you. But, if you're even just only following some of this, don't feel like you can't contribute to our Facebook group. So this is the Facebook group. I'm going to publish this recording as well as a copy of this Word document. So you can just go ahead and use all of these. There's going to be hot links. And I want to do a series. I want to do another one. We'll talk later about whether, what day next week. And this one is finding sensible substitutes that satisfy. I love alliterations, as you can tell. And I've got an English teacher, PhD on here too. She's probably like, uh-oh, I would like to go to that with a highlighter right now. And then successfully swapping out your sweet and salty cravings. We'll do that in the next time. So we're going to talk about what we're starting on the 21st of April, which is Sunday. So some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, you're probably going to be doing your shopping, and this will give you ideas of what to put on your list. I'm going to even show you a few things afterwards that I'm a real fan of and that really helped me stay on this. Now, as I said, you follow this at your own pace, but I will tell you that it's really good to monitor yourself. Like you could be using this just to learn more about yourself. What am I feeling? What deprivation might I be feeling? What difference do I feel in my body? And if you think that 21 days is not enough, I'll give you a little background without getting deeply in it. Those who met me in my early days, I was just a couple years out of not being able to get out of bed most days. I had an autoimmune disorder. It was not like they weren't telling you what kind of autoimmune disorder. There was no name for it. They just said, you have a problem. I was getting shingles like every 3 or 4 months. And they said that could cause brain damage if I was getting those relapses. And so I found information over synchronicity. It's in my book over 3 days that I should go to raw food. Now, this is not a raw food diet. There will be some recipes that I will share that fall into the raw food category of food that's not cooked over about 108 degrees. This is more of avoiding pretty much everything that we're avoiding are the things that I was avoiding by going to the raw food diet. But some of the things we'll talk about is let's stay away from as much. We're going to use some processed foods because we live in a world that we get busy, and we have to depend on things to make it easier if you're not doing your prep work. So I just knew that I had to do this. And within 3 weeks, I felt like a brand new person. I was just so energetic. I felt almost like a buzzing in my body. And it was because I was releasing these inflammation causing foods, and I was eating food that was a lot easier on my digestive system. So the more we get into the non-processed, it's just going to be easier on your digestive system. But again, this is no judgment. So I'm going to go to some of these processed foods myself, providing they fall within the rules. So basically what we're going to eliminate are any meats or animal products, which include eggs, and it includes fish. If you are absolutely needing to have a piece of chicken or a piece of fish or something like that, that's fine. Again, this is a non-judgment zone, but it would be very interesting just to see what you feel in 21 days. Whatever you want to go back to, that's your choice. And again, we'll probably stay on there for a week or so afterwards just to answer questions, but we're not there to judge you. I'm going to go through all of these individually, but we're also going to, dairy is another one, which includes, milk or creamer or cheese, creams and things like that. And we'll talk about what we'll substitute. And the other one is sweet sugar. We want to stay off of any kind of sugar that is from the sugar cane. A lot of that, by the way, is being made from genetically modified sugar beets. And so even the raw sugars, I would stay away from, but I'm going to give you a list. And like I say, you'll be able to download this list. All right, let's start with the meats and other animal products. I mean, we are living in a time now where there is so much available to a person who is vegan or, let's say, plant-based. So this might be your opportunity to try some things. There's great things out there. Now, that's what's called the analogs. Those are the meat-like products that are designed to taste, to mimic. And that's a really good way to enter in if you haven't had a chance to try any of these. By all means, try them. But in order to get that rich tasting feeling, that mouthfeel and that taste, they're using a lot of processing to get there. And you also want to look at the ingredients, and you want to make sure that there's no hidden sugars in there too. But you have the Beyond Beef, the Impossible Burgers. I think Beyond Beef makes an Italian sausage that I am literally not able to eat because I don't eat pork. I don't like pork, and it tastes exactly like a pork sausage. So if you do, if this is something you eat, try it, because you'd be surprised how good some of this tastes. I'm going to show you the package of Beyond Steak. These are these little steak tips that I do stir fries with. I personally, every once in a while, I didn't for many, many years, every once in a while, have a little bit of red meat, but I don't have steak because I like this Beyond Steak. If I'm in the mood to have like steak tips, I would rather use this. So you're going to get a chance to experience some different things. You can also find some great faux ground beef or pea protein crumbles. Now, a lot of this is made with soy, and some of it now, knowing that people could be also sensitive. Now, I'm not taking you off of soy, but if you feel like it might be something that is contributing to inflammation and you eat a lot of soy, you might want to test that too. Again, this is about monitoring yourself. But there's places that make these great pea protein crumbles that you just reconstitute in hot water. And then what I do is I saute them with everything with me is mushrooms and onions. I'm like, onions, green onions, any kind of mushroom. So I do that, and I'll make either tacos or I'll make stuffed peppers or zucchini. And so sometimes I'd like you guys to try doing more of a vegetable main course rather than depending on an analog. So I'll put a recipe out, and you might want to challenge yourself. Granted, some of these having on hand are important to have because they're convenient, and maybe you don't have the time. But stuffed portobello, I make stuffed portobellos with almond flour and mushrooms and onions and other vegetables and greens, and you can put some nuts in that too. You can make a cauliflower steak. I think I just just saved a recipe on YouTube for cauliflower steaks. And there's a lot of great, and there's cabbage steaks too. You see a lot of that now where you brown them and steam them and make a great yummy sauce. You can make, if you like cream sauces like stroganoffs, you can make the best cream sauces with a can of coconut cream. I do it all the time. It's just wonderful, like a little vegan butter and some olive oil and some veggies in there. Of course, with me, it's going to be, in that point, it will be shallots and it will be mushrooms. And I'll even maybe put some portobello powder in there too. And then you have this great, you just cook it down and you have this great creamy type of sauce. You can do these things with tomato sauces too. Now, also with cauliflower, I'll look for this recipe, but you can make a fabulous bolognese sauce that's made with cauliflower and nutritional yeast and walnut crumbles. I mean, just really fantastic. And I'll look that up for you too. Now, oyster mushrooms are great. You can get the oyster mushrooms and cut them like to the size of a scallop and score them at the top and just saute them a little bit, maybe steam them. You can even put a little cooking sherry in there and they taste like scallops. You can slice them very thin and you can soak them in some, maybe a little bit of maple syrup, a little soy sauce, a little bit of liquid smoke, and then fry them up and then pat them, let them get hard, and it's like bacon. So there are things that you can make that are more natural. Tempeh, now, if you're trying to stay away from soy, there are a lot of things you can do with tofu. Some people don't really like the taste of tofu, but tempeh is a form of fermented soy, and the fermented versions of soy are a lot easier on your digestion. So if you'd like to try that out, tempeh, I have a sandwich for you. I'll show you that I make, and my husband loves it. I call it a TLT, which is tempeh, lettuce, and tomato. I think I made that for you once, Cynthia, when you were here. All right. So beans are wonderful. I mean, I have to take a little beano when I do beans. So maybe buy a little thing of that to see how you digest them. But I went into a little frenzy last summer where I was doing these oil braised beans, and you can take a cooking, like the kind of thing that you could put in an oven, and I would put some shallot and garlic and olive oil at the bottom, and then put whatever kind of beans, some canned beans, you rinse them or get rid of the thing, and then I put some rosemary and some more olive oil at the top, and I would braise them in the oven and serve them over noodles or over rice or something like that. That was really nice, or even over greens if you're trying to go low carb too. That was great. Now, you're going to learn a lot about, I'm really big on pâtés, seed and nut pâtés. They're fantastic. They're so filling. There's so many bases that you can do there. I even would make these nut burgers when I was doing the classes at Abby's, that they would beg me to make them for them to sell in their deli. I mean, they're, and now I would use a dehydrator, but I want to tell, if you want to try stuff like this out and you're not ready to take that leap and go, oh, I'm going to go invest a few $100s in a dehydrator, just invest in a Silpat. Those are those sheets that you put on top of your baking sheet, and you can put your oven at a low temperature, and it's on the Silpat, which is kind of like if you put it on parchment, but it's going to have more protection from the heat. And you can try some of these breads and cracker recipes that I'm going to recommend just on a Silpat and see how you like them and see how you do with them. And then eventually, like I did, I started in my oven at low temperatures, and then I progressed to having buying a dehydrator, because there's so many great things that you can do. All right. So you can do, we were talking the other day in the group about tofu scramble. I'll put some recipes in there. There are some things out there that are called just like eggs, where they'll scramble like eggs. Again, those are going to be filled with a lot of chemicals and fillers. So maybe that's once or twice a week. Try your best the other days a week to, like when you make up a pate dish, you have enough for at least 3 meals. When you make the beans, if this is just for you, I mean, this is 2 meals worth of food for you, from a can of beans if you serve it over something. All right, sorry. I guess he's getting some dogs out ready for a walk. All right. This is a video when I did with the daytime show of my TLT. And in this, I also show you how to make nut milk. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. So now this is something that discovered me rather than I discovering. It's called Butler Soy Curls. And if you go on Facebook and you put it in the search bar, I was just invited to be a member of their group. And I watched it for like 2 months before I actually ordered some of these on Amazon. And man, they are amazing. They are soy, but they're not genetically modified and they're only soy. That's it. That's the only thing. And they look real crunchy. Like my husband thought they were something to munch on, and they're not at all. You have to reconstitute them. And I'll do even a little video on how to do that. Now I'll tell you, my Courtney and her husband, and Courtney is like my daughter. She's my spiritual daughter. And when they were living still here in Florida, they would come over. I would make these broccoli beef egg rolls. And Eric said I would drive 40 because they lived 45 minutes away in Spring Hill. And he said I would drive 45 minutes just for one of those. Of course, he'd have like 4 or 5 of them. These things are so good. You can make them like you can reconstitute them with the not beef bouillon or the not chicken bouillon. What I do too is I put a little bit of like a cornstarch, or you can use tapioca starch, and you can spray them with a little bit of like avocado oil spray and put them in your air fryer. And I eat them like that with just a little dip. They taste like, remember going to Howard Johnson's and having fried clam strips? They taste like that. And then if you want to put them into, like, say you're making a beef with broccoli type of a base, I guarantee you it will taste, people will be, they won't believe that they're not eating that. I also make buffalo chicken strips with them and fajitas and stroganoff. So this is another thing to look into. If you go to Amazon, I think you can buy 1 bag of them for less than $10. And you can get at least 3 or 4 uses out of that too, because they definitely grow. And any questions that you have about that, we can talk about that in the group. Spring rolls with rice wraps. That's a really good meal. If you make a couple of those, that makes a great meal to have. And we'll talk also a little bit about rice things too. Make soups and curries using coconut milk bases. They feel very rich. You can make curries and you can put them over rice. You can use lentils for that. You can make a lentil loaf, chickpeas. There's so many things. I have recipes too, where you can do a chickpea salad, like it would be a chicken salad or a tuna salad. I just saw a recipe I want to try for a chickpea and edamame salad, and I'm going to try it. And remember that you can use either mashed avocado as your quote mayonnaise, or veganese is fantastic. My husband loves it. Like that's his choice rather than regular mayonnaise, even though he's not vegetarian. So there's a lot that you can do with that too. Here is a link for when I did the pate on the daytime show. And there's, I don't know if I put the recipe, but anytime you go to the blog, you can, in the search bar, you can put something in there and it will show you. I mean, there's hundreds of blogs in there with recipes, because we've been around for a long time. I mean, I've been having, even though we've had the Academy for 11 years, I was doing the raw fusion for a few years before that even. So we've got loads of it. These wild mushroom burgers is what I was telling you about. There's even a recipe for a raw barbecue sauce too. That's so easy to make. It's just soaked sun-dried tomatoes and a little bit of like maple syrup and some liquid smoke. I mean, you'd be amazed at what you can make. Again, if you want to start using, I talk about condiments. When you look at your condiments, remember that there's probably a lot of hidden sugar in condiments. One of my favorite things in the world are coconut liquid aminos. I'll show this to you again later, and it's kind of the perfect world between soy sauce and wanting something sweet, because it's got that kind of soy umami and there's a certain sweetness to it too. But we'll talk about that one. Okay, dairy. All right, this is a big one for people. Cheese contains oxytocin. It has these love hormones in it. Cheese is really meant, to give to the calves and to have it bond to its mommy, so we have and I'm not going to go into any, none of this is to turn anybody into a vegan or anything. I have no agenda with this. I just want you to experience what your body might feel like without as much triggering of your inflammatory foods. All right. So, but there are a lot of really good options if you want to cut, even if you come off of this and go, you know what, I still want to eat cheese. I love cheese, but I want to cut back on it. You'll find so many great substitutions here. All right, your dairy, your milk. There's so many out there. There's almond, the oat. Now you really want to look again at the boxes. I get the organic almond milk with vanilla from Costco. You can find a lot of these things now at the warehouses. There's so many things that you can buy at Walmart now. If you go to one of the big Walmarts, you can get almost all the stuff that I'm talking to you about at Walmart even. You don't, I mean, some things are at Whole Foods, some things you can get at Trader Joe's, but you'd be really amazed what you can get at Walmart. So there's so many different kinds. And this is you can you can get coconut milk. You can make a mixture. One of my favorite creamers, even though I don't really drink coffee or I don't even drink that much tea anymore, from Trader Joe's is an almond coconut mix. It does have sugar, so it's off limits for me. Even if sometimes what I make is a golden milk, and I'll put a little of that in to sweeten up, but I'm not going to do that on I'll make the golden milk, but I'm going to use one of the sensible sweeteners. Now, we'll talk about making nut milk, and it's not that hard to do, but did you know that you could soak some flaked coconut, flake coconut that you get in a bag, you can soak it in some water. Let's say, you have about 3/4 of a cup of coconut in about a cup to a cup and a quarter, maybe a cup and a half of water. Just soak it for about an hour or two and put it in your blender, and then just, either squeeze it through cheesecloth or just put it through your sieve and just keep pressing down with a spoon. You will have milk. You will have coconut milk. That's how fast and easy you can make it. They do have some good brands that are in cans too, but obviously making it that way. There are some great cheese analogs out these days. Back when I went vegan for a while, I was vegan. I'm not vegan now. There wasn't as much available, and there are some great cheeses that you could make, raw. One of my favorite is for a pimento cheese. I'll put the recipe up too. You just take cashews and you soak them for about an hour or two, and then you run them with 1 cup of juiced red pepper. And that's easy to make. You can just, run a red pepper with water and then put it through a sieve. And then you put in like maybe 5 probiotics. And then you just have it sit in cheesecloth and cover it for a day or two. If you're in Tampa or thereabouts, just a day, because it's really hot and humid here and the bacteria goes, quickly. But when it has a little bite to it, you add some nutritional yeast, a little salt, put it in the refrigerator, you have a great pimento cheese. So there's stuff you can make, but Violife, if you find their cheddar, it's really, their feta is really good. It's like a little block. And if you make a salad, you could put that on, or if you make anything that's melted, it melts pretty well too. They have good shredded cheeses. And, like they have a cheddar, they have a, like follow your heart. That's my favorite Parmesan. They have a very good Parmesan that you can get that, it's, you just put it on top, like if you're broiling something. They also have a lot of good slices. So if you're one that really likes to have a sandwich and you want to, like say you make yourself a chickpea sandwich, but you would like to have that, well, dogs are here. You would like to have a slice of cheese on it. You can get one of those follow your heart. They've got this like the smoked, provolone and all different kinds of flavors now. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. I know Cynthia had asked about yogurt. there's some great yogurts out there, but some of them have sugar in them. You can get the plain for now, and then you can add a little, of maybe some fresh, some maple syrup and cinnamon or some fresh berries in there. But if you want to make your own, you can take whatever nut milk or seed milk that you like and put a couple probiotic capsules, open it up and leave it overnight, and just, cover it and leave it overnight. And and then if you want it a little thicker, you can put some chia seeds in it. But you will find like Forager makes a really good cashew yogurt, Kite Hill. There's places now. There's a lot of places that you can find coconut-based yogurt. Again, for this challenge that we're doing, I would rather that you get the plain ones and then add what you want to do for sweetening, because the more you stay away from sugar is one of the biggest culprits of all. Kite sour cream, very easy to make. Just soak those cashews, blend them with the water, little salt, little lemon. If you want a little cheesier, put in some nutritional yeast. I add some paprika or some dill to mine, to flavor it up. In fact, if you add the dill, it tastes just like a ranch dressing. Very much like it's great dressing. Kite Hill makes a good cream cheese that's almond based. I love the chive one. So that's something to try. Coconut cream, I mentioned sour cream. Oh, I said I put that twice. All right. Sweeteners. So this is really kind of even the order that I would recommend. Monk fruit is the best. It is really if you're looking for a sweetener that is granulated, your best bet is monk fruit, because it has zero impact on your raising your insulin levels, but it's also very clean. It's hard to find without erythritol. For instance, now at Costco, they have it with erythritol, and some information came out not too long ago that erythritol might affect some people. It's one of those sugar alcohols. I was able to find monk fruit on Amazon that had no erythritol. So if anybody wants the link to that, I got a 5-ounce thing, and I can't remember the price right now, but I can post the link too if you're interested. I personally don't like stevia. Some people don't mind it. They have really good stevia, but you want to make sure that you're going to use an organic brand of it. To me, it has an aftertaste. For the granulated, coconut sugar is very good. It, again, all sweetener, even coconut sugar, is going to have an impact on your glucose levels, but not as bad as some of the other things too. So if you're baking, I'm going to try baking some, like a matcha loaf next week, a recipe I saw. And I'm going to use a combination of monk fruit and coconut sugar on that one. So I'll let you know how it came out. All right, date syrup, you can find it in a lot of places now. I saw date syrup, although I haven't seen it the last couple times, at Trader Joe's. Date paste, I posted something very easy to make. Just make sure to take the pits out, soak your dates, run them through a blender, and you can even add that to your baking. Some people might not like the taste of date paste for sweetening a coffee or a tea. If you're used to drinking, then I would use like monk fruit or coconut sugar, or if you can tolerate it, stevia. Now, some of the desserts that I'm going to teach you to make require that kind of a gooey sweetener. And my favorite is coconut nectar. I use a product called Palm Sweet. I get it off of Amazon. I can share that link for you guys too. And it's great. It tastes great, and it's so much better for your body. Back when we were starting out, our raw food journey, everybody was really hot on agave. And agave does not work well if you have any tendency towards a high A1C or diabetic. I'd say stay away from agave, because it does raise those glucose levels. But if you're making, like I'm going to show you about making raw food, chocolate sauces and puddings and things like that, if sweetening is not a big thing for you and you're just going to use a small amount of it, no problem. If it's something that you're going to use every day, I would invest in some coconut syrup. They're very sweet and a little goes a long way. Maple syrup is okay, but you want to get a good brand of maple syrup. I know you can get the organic one at Costco. Brown rice syrup, it's lower on the list. I'll show you also that if you have a sweet craving, one of the best things you can do is just take a date, you know, nice juicy medjool date, take out the pit and put in your favorite nut butter. Try it with pistachio butter. It is just a revelation. Like I like to sometimes have something sweet with a cup of tea. And that is just works perfectly because then you've got that like taking that hot, you know, thing. And we'll talk more about, you know, these substitutes. Honey is, if you're looking for a substitute, it's not vegan, but even back when I was vegan, I considered myself what's called vegan. I did use some bee products. And you know, it's lower on the list because it's not ideal because we are really looking to get away from animal-based products. But if you really love honey and that's what's your option is, go for it. Again, it's a judgment-free zone. Raw sugar, I'd say, honey, I'm on the he's yelling at dogs, sorry. I would say stay away from raw sugar. All right, Jeff, I can't. He's trying to get the dogs out. Sorry, this is always a problem with the dogs. All right, artificial sweeteners. That's what you want to be aware of. Like there's some really good keto stuff out there, but a lot of them use these like, have you ever had anything with maltitol? It will just blow your stomach up like a balloon. It is so gross, like how you feel. And so beware of it. If you really, really drink soda, you know, see if you can find some sort of substitute. Even back when I went raw, I liked diet soda. I would have a couple Diet Cokes a week with some lemon in it. And what got me to break my Diet Coke, again, I'd have it maybe 2-3 times a week. I'm never really an everyday have to have something person. I started having kombucha. We'll talk about kombucha. And kombucha has sugar, but a lot of that sugar gets digested from the bacteria that's in there. So it doesn't have as big of a sugar impact. Now, if you do have sugar issues, you probably only want to drink a half of kombucha a day. All right, condiments, we talked about the coconut liquid aminos, veggies. Now, I'm going to, you know, challenge everybody to listen, you know, I'm going to go on having kombucha because I love kombucha. It gives me, you know, part of the servings I need for, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables every day. So let everybody choose one condiment that you really would make this journey easier for you, even if it has some sugar in it. If it's barbecue sauce or an Asian stir fry sauce, something, you know, that you really feel like you're dreading doing this because you're going to be outside of your comfort zone. Feel free to choose that one thing you can have, but maybe even try to do that barbecue sauce because it's great. All right, if you are doing the wheat and gluten thing, now why did I put corn there? People think, well, if I don't eat wheat, I can eat corn and tortillas. If you have autoimmune issues that are related to gluten, sometimes there is something called molecular mimicry. I could eat corn any day over bread. I love corn. It's probably the food that I crave the most, love the most, but it does as much damage, if not more, to my body as gluten does. So you can maybe try being off of corn for 3 weeks and then add it back in and just see how you feel as a way. Or if you feel like corn and you are fine, you can use corn. There are a lot of gluten-free breads out there nowadays. They have bagels, they have muffins, they've got a lot of stuff over at Trader Joe's. That stuff is pretty highly processed too. I can have some gluten-free, you know, bagels or muffins, and it will tear my stomach apart. So they're using a lot of chemicals in there too. So you've got to kind of see how you feel. Something that works really well are these like siete tortillas. They have the almond ones, the cassava, they have chips, they have taco shells too. So that's that's made without any gluten whatsoever. Spring roll wrappers. This has been my favorite thing lately is these pacha. You might have seen, they show up all the time on Facebook, or maybe it just shows up on my Facebook all the time. But it's just like a 3-ingredient bread that's made with buckwheat. And they have like they're kind of small slices, but I get the one that I like are the buns. And you usually have to toast it twice because they taste really good when they're like a little crispy, but they're fantastic. And I don't have any of that heaviness afterwards when I like how I feel after I eat bread. So these are things that, and by the way, they, so you don't have to pay the expensive cost and shipping. They're online, but if you have a Whole Foods anywhere near you, you can buy these now in Whole Foods. It's $10 for a pack. And it will last a little bit. I mean, with the buns, I get 6 of them. So that's not even, it's a week for me because I don't have one every single day. You're investing also in foods that are going to make you feel better. We'll talk about making, you can find a lot of raw crackers out there, or seed breads, or bread that, things that are made with almond flour. There's even crackers now that are made with almond flour too. Again, watch the ingredients to make sure there's no hidden sugars in them. These are something too, these raw crackers and seed breads, they made it really easy for me when I went raw, because I would have that feeling of like, when you just kind of need that munchy something that feels carby, that those work really well. And if you get a Silpat, you can even experiment with making them. They might not be 100% raw, but they will be 100% anti-immune triggering, which is so it's worth kind of trying it out, and maybe we'll do that as a challenge too. Something that I discovered at Costco is this Catalina Crunch. It's considered keto, but when you look at the ingredients, it's got really great ingredients. It uses only monk fruit as a sweetener, and it's non-GMO, it's gluten-free. And so sometimes, I'm a little bit more of a grazer than I am an eater. So if I feel like I haven't gotten enough, fruit and vegetables, or I haven't gotten enough, protein or kale, I'll just have a little bowl and I'll put in a bunch of dried and fresh and frozen fruits in it with some almond milk. And also, these are really good if you have a sweet craving. You can just reach in. They're cinnamon flavored. They have other flavors. These are the ones that are available at Costco. They're great for snacking too. And one of the things that we'll probably talk about during this challenge is this whole anti-aging, antioxidant 5-7-9 theory that I'm going to introduce you with. So, and as we said, more than anything, guys, I don't want to be screaming into the void. So stick with me on this, ask your questions. Let's have fun with it. Don't feel burdened. And it's going to be a whole spring cleaning. And even though we're looking at lifestyle and elimination diet and what we're eating, I might throw out a spirit challenge. Like for 3 days, let's keep a gratitude journal and see how you feel, or try this breathing technique. The idea is let's also detox bad thoughts and heavy feelings and things that weigh us down. So I'm going to stop the share. Cool. And we'll go back to. All righty. So guys, why don't you, open your microphones if you have a question. But did all of that, did you learn anything new today? On some stuff that you hadn't thought of?
At pistachio butter. I never thought about pistachio butter. I've had every other nut butter in the world, and I'm on my phone right now looking it up.
No. Let me tell you something. There's one that I get on Amazon, but I went to Abby's, and Abby's is where we go.
Right.
And right on the thing, there's one, and it's less expensive. You get more, and it is the best one I've ever tasted.
Okay, well,
One of my friends from
Abby's then.
one of my friends from Pilates, I told her to do this, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you, thank you, thank you," because she's been off sugar, and she says, "I'm having such cravings." I said, "Try this." And also, sometimes if I'm having a savory craving, I will put some on like a little rice cracker, and I could maybe slice some, maybe slice some radishes. One of the things that I like to get is dried dulse. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
remember
it's also
that from
great
way back when.
if you're anywhere in the menopause, spectrum, that, it has a lot of what we can use in our body too. The iodine helps us a lot with dulse. So I'll just put that sometime. You can use the pistachio nut butter. And sometimes if I'm having a sweet craving, I'll just take a teaspoon of it and it
Yeah.
takes the sweet craving away. So definitely macadamia nutter is, if you go to, and how many of you belong to Costco? They have a combination of seeds and nut butters that doesn't have, I am allergic to peanut butter, not where I'm going to just like fall on the floor and have anaphylactic shock, but it's been getting worse and worse and worse over the years. So I really have to stay away from peanuts. So it's one from that comes from Costco. I don't know if it's called Nutso or something, and it's priced really well, and it's even got chia seeds. And apparently chia seeds are like the thing now, to help you with everything.
Could I make a suggestion? I found this is just, and I can put it on on our Facebook page, but I recently found a website called Cooking for Peanuts, all one word, but cookingforpeanuts.com. And they have so many recipes on there. You don't have, she has a book, but you don't have to buy it. You can, but I couldn't believe she's got a great recipe that looks like ground beef using walnuts and lentils and stuff.
Yeah, by
And
all
so
means.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying that if anybody's interested, go to cookingforpeanuts.com and look at some of the things she has.
that's great. There's
Got
all,
it. She's I just one last thing. She's got a I'm always looking for a salad dressing that isn't a salad dressing but tastes like a salad dressing. And she's got one using carrots that is awesome. So carrots and lentils and like garlic and stuff. And so it comes out creamy, but it's orange. It's really cool. So anyway, I wanted to put that out there because
yeah, please do.
I've got your book and I use all your recipes, but these are just some new ones. And she's got
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Anyway, look, if you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
look at it.
I'm going to share a lot of stuff that's not mine, because that was a lot of years ago that I wrote, and I'm not doing that high raw. I was high raw for 3.5 years, and it's
I
quite a
know.
commitment. And we could have a challenge down the road if you guys want to try that, and have that. But, now what we're going to do is we're going to do something that I think all of us can do without a tremendous amount of deprivation. I'm going to do everything I can to help you not feel deprived and to feel supported and everything. But we all have to challenge ourselves sometimes, because we get into ruts. I get into ruts with food. And I'm really looking forward to this because I want to break some of these habits of the stuff that I've been eating too. So absolutely, share your recipes, share, your ideas. That's the whole idea of this, is that we're going to share our hacks, our life hacks to be able to eat other food. I mean, I was the first one way back when that was making jams and jellies out of chia seeds and fruits,
Yeah.
you know, and that's fantastic. You can take like frozen whatever berries you like and mash them up. I think I did that. I think I had some of the see that, didn't I, at the yeah, we did. We had some of that for the I made some of it for the retreat too. And you just put chia seeds in it and whatever sweetener, if you've got agave or if you got maple syrup, or if you've got that coconut nectar, it makes up and it's so much better for you. It doesn't have all that stuff. And meanwhile, Lizzie's cooking right now, just as, what are you making, Liz? Oh, she'd have to put her, yeah, she's got her hands to, she's cooking too. So yeah, and don't get freaked out like about this idea, again, nobody's pushing you into veganism. I have absolutely no agenda ever other than I want you guys to feel what it feels like when you stop triggering your immune systems. I mean, most of you guys, you're young and you have no idea the overall effect that this can have if you continuously allow your immune system to be weakened by these foods. So I think even in 3 weeks, oh, look at the puppy. Kat, how old is Ronan now? Oh, you don't have your,
Sorry, hi. No, that was Harley, the Great Dane. She's about 1.5. And then Ronan's gonna be 10 in June.
10 already.
Yeah, I know.
Where does time go? Karen, I don't know if you're wanting to talk. I'm asking, I just, it said ask to unmute. So I'm asking to unmute. Do you see anything on your screen? All right. Do you see anything that looks like we can't hear you. Do you see anything that looks like a little microphone on your screen that you can click?
Oh,
There you go.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Hey,
Oh,
I saw her.
you
unmute.
unmuted.
There
Okay.
you are.
Okay, am I here now?
Yes.
Okay. I had 3 dots on the bottom and I had to scroll to get to the unmute part, which is
Okay.
weird because I've used Zoom before and I didn't have that before. But anyway, no, I was wondering about the pistachio butter. And then when you were talking about mushrooms and onions, I'm like, oh my God, I have mushrooms and onions already cooked in the fridge. I had to get them.
I want to experiment with making like a roasted mushrooms and onions and then like making a pate or something like that. You know, I once,
Mhm.
I think it was,
Oh, wouldn't that be good to make it?
yeah, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to share.
pate.
I mean, everything that I've done over the years, I'm just sharing the stuff, you know, that I've been experimenting, you know, myself.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, oh, what was I going to say?
I love your walnut pate from back in the day.
Yes. And the sun.
I still make that. I give that that recipe to everybody. The walnut pate. I
The
love it.
walnut pate, and then you could do that with sunflower seeds too. It is so amazing. And I'm going to look up the recipe. I think I had a whole blog called Cinco de Mayo celebration, and you can make sunflower seeds taste like refried beans. I mean, it's like amazing. And I would even like heat them up lightly in a crock pot so they'd still stay, you know, raw because they weren't cooked over 108 degrees. And then I would make like a faux sour cream, you know, and I would make this whole raw feast, you know, that was and we would wrap it in lettuce instead of taco. I mean, it was
Or
just,
stuffed green peppers or stuffed red peppers.
it is absolutely amazing what you can do with raw food. But I mean, we're going to do more of like, some of it's going to be raw fusion and some of it's going to be cooked, you know, so there's no hard and fast way. You know, and then if you
Mhm.
start trying these analogs, I'd love to hear what you think. Like if you try one of these fake cheeses, for, you know, lack of a better word, and you like it, you know, tell us about it. If you didn't like it, tell us about it. You know, let's share so that we can inspire and motivate other people. You know, some of you who are here, you know, you guys are coaches, you know, and this is a great way to engage your coaching community too, is to you know, to offer to do these, and you offer it to do along with them, but you want to engage people and make sure that they're staying, you know, that they're staying with you on it too. So, you know, one of the things that I made for the retreat is I made chia pudding, you know, for breakfast. For in the morning, we had chia pudding, and I did a combination. It's really nice if you do it with, let's say, we used oat milk just because I figured that this way we wouldn't get it to anybody with nut allergies. We used oat milk, which already has a little bit of a sweetness to it. And I put a little bit of coconut cream in it too, to richen it up. And then you put, you know, you can even do these overnight, and whatever sweetener you want to put in it. That's one that I would use, a gooey sweetener, a viscous sweetener. And then you can just, you know, add fruits to it or whatever, you know, whatever you want to do. Or even some of that fruit, that chia jam. I'm going to post all kinds of videos because eHow hired me to do like 100 videos for them. Of a lot of these were salad dressings and raw food things too. So I'll dig up as much as I can and be posting too. And anything that you question, you can go to the website and see if we have a blog or ask questions. You know, we'll do it. So anybody have any questions before we end for tonight?
I had a question,
Hey.
LJ.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, Danny, go
No,
ahead.
I insist.
Oh, okay. So I had a question, LJ, and sorry, I turned my video off. So I had, you know, that diverticulitis and all that just jazz, junk, whatever. Um, So a lot of allergies come up with that, and peanut butter was one of them. I eat a lot of all natural peanut butter, and come to find out that was really, really messing with me. So I've been doing substitutes with nuts and things. And I'm so anxious to try a lot of these recipes. I'm really looking forward to it. And so many great ideas. But I had a question. Now, I don't know who's heard of kachava, but have you heard of it, LJ, or the ingredients on it?
Oh, wait, show that to me again. Yes, as a matter of fact, Luann, who was our host over at the retreat, made me a smoothie and put some of that in there. I thought that's why I asked you to show. I thought it was that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at the ingredients list, and I'll probably share, but it's gluten and it's non-dairy and it's no soy.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And she's really,
Yeah.
really impeccable with her eating. So I knew that it had to be good. So yeah.
So just for, and it's not the cheapest. It's like $60 for a bag, but you get 15 meals in it.
Well, you can take that even and make yourself and put, you put like a tablespoon of, it gets kind of a chocolatey taste and make yourself a pudding. You can make some really, really good puddings
That's a
with
good
cashews
idea.
Oh,
too.
kachava?
Huh? Kachava. I've seen them on Facebook. If you take some, you take your cashews and you were like you were making a sour cream, but you would use a little less water and you put a little bit of coconut oil. Anything you put coconut oil and you put it in the refrigerator, it gets, it kind of hardens. So you wind up with this nice pudding, too. You can I put vanilla in it or whatever flavors. I have a lot of great videos on that too.
I'm
So
excited. That sounds really
yeah,
good.
so you're gonna get a chance to really try some
Yeah.
different stuff. And sometimes it's because we're creatures of habit. We haven't, or we're a little nervous to try something new. And that's what we want. Part of this is just to break free of trying. And there's going to be some stuff you just don't like. One of my dogs is snoring really loud next to me. I don't know if you can hear her. It's coming through. But yeah, just have fun with it and, just don't flake out on me. That's the only thing I ask. I want you to stick with me on it and let's have fun with it so that we can then motivate other people. If you show somebody that you went 21 days, you might at the end of 21 days go, you know what? I don't really need that particular thing in my life anymore. So a couple of things that I do, I wanted to show you. So I am an intermittent faster and I've been doing it for 10 years. It's not every single day, but very rarely do I eat before about 11 in the morning or, after 6:37 at night. So some of the things that I really depend on, like I used to make smoothies and I think smoothies are really good. Smoothies are even really in some ways better for you than juice. This juice is cold pressed juice because they have fiber. And fiber slows down sugar absorption and it also keeps you full. I like very, very pristine smoothies. Whatever you do, please, if you want to put some protein powder or chia seeds or hemp seeds in your smoothies, please don't put nut milk in them and please don't put nut butter. They're really not meant to be digested together. I posted a video about how to make one. If you just take bananas and break them in half, and I say break them in half because you really only need a half a banana. They're high in sugar. And you just freeze them and put them in your freezer, broken in half, and take one out and put it in a smoothie. You will have this beautiful creamy smoothie. If you want, maybe you can put a handful of soaked cashews or something, but really you can put avocado in it or banana in it, and you will have a creamy smoothie without you having to, to go outside of that food group. But what I do is because then I'll be at Pilates, and I'll want something. So I get the suja. I really like the noon greens. And they're not cheap, they're like $4, and so is this. But then again, that's my meal replacement. That's what I'm having because I'm not having again a meal until I'm a grazer rather than an eater, and I don't eat breakfast. So and these you can even get these at Walmart, in a large Walmart. They're called Remedy, and there's 12 grams of protein. And this particular one, look what's in there: almond milk, Japanese matcha, spirulina, turmeric, prebiotics, and I know it's got coconut sugar in it. I love this. So today, for instance, I had a cardio sculpt class, which is a jump class, takes a lot of energy, and that was at 11. And that's how I broke my fast. You know, my morning thing was what I had this, and they have them in all different flavors. The chocolate is really intense chocolate. They have a chai flavor, they have a berry flavor, they have like a turmeric one. I like the matcha one. I just love it. So the other thing, you know, I was talking about the Beyond Steak. That's what this looks like. These are so good. Honestly, I would never eat like steak tips again just because these are so good. Every once in a while, I don't eat chicken, I don't eat pork, I don't eat lamb, but every once in a while I'll have a little bit of something with beef. You know, I work out intensely and sometimes I might not be getting enough protein. So and like I said, the coconut aminos, um, Coconut Secret and the one from Trader Joe's are the best. There is another brand out there, Essential something or other, not so good. They don't taste as good. So either just if you can get to Trader Joe's, they have a great one, or the Coconut Secret ones. Fantastic. I mean, Lizzie, you know coconut aminos, right? Tell us your question now. Can you unmute?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say that I have arthritis. I've had it my whole life, and I went gluten-free, sugar-free, um, gluten-free, sugar-free, and like most meat-free for a couple years there, and it was the best I ever felt. And I've definitely, a pandemic happened, fell back into a lot of habits, and
We ate banana bread.
like it happens. And I'm really excited to get back on this because I know I felt my best. And I just had my grandmother visiting and she has dementia and her body's falling apart. And I just don't want that for me. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to let you know, I'm not starting until Sunday or Monday because 420 is this weekend and I have festivities planned and I'm going to eat whatever I want. But right after that is when I'm going to get into it. And I'm excited to see things that I'm not one to eat like fake meat. Like if it's not of memory, it's not for me. But to find new things like Mediterranean diet stuff that's new to me, but isn't necessarily replacing something so much as just like a new thing in
Right.
place of.
Well, for
Yeah.
instance, Lizzie had the brilliant idea for our luncheon on Saturday at the retreat to do Mediterranean bowls. Now we did have, we had some shredded chicken, that was a meat option. And there was even, I think, some salami or whatever, but we had so many different meatless options and everybody loved them. So we'll be exploring, I think, let's explore Mediterranean bowls and share and take pictures. They make, they look nice. There's so many different things that we can do where you're not going to feel deprived. If you're starting to feel deprived, then look inside. What's happening? What am I feeling? This is all about monitoring yourself. Just have fun with it. Don't take yourself so seriously. Just stick with it. And like I say, you will then be able to influence other people in your circle. And then you might come out of it and go, you know what, this was great. Maybe I'll have a meatless Monday every week, and they say, I remember back when I was doing still a lot of writing. I mean, it was something crazy. Like if every American did a meatless Monday, that would be like taking like 30,000 cars off the road or something. I mean,
We did that last night.
You did meatless Monday. I mean, yeah, you might say, hey, maybe I don't need meat, every day, or maybe I can find things that don't have sugar that I can still feel satisfied, because a lot of us are 420 people. We like sugar, for those of you who don't know, 420 is kind of the cannabis national holiday. So it's all right, guys. Any other questions? Because I'll wind this down.
No, but Lizzie, I'm coming after you this weekend. I want to go.
Actually,
I'm going to our harvest for dinner.
Nice. We've been out at the retreat. We live 20 minutes from each other, like craziness. So
oh, that's right. Cool. You found out at the retreat that you live 20 minutes away. Well, I'm coming. I'm going to go out and stay with Megan at some point, and then I'll get a chance to see you and and meet Pat and Frankie too. So
I got 3 guest rooms. Everybody's welcome.
Cool. All right. So thank you for showing up. It's great to have some people who are excited about this, and let's just have fun with it. And we're starting, kind of officially on Sunday. Some of you might be starting Monday unofficially, but I'll be posting a few things here and there throughout the week too. And if you think of things that are helpful, like Cynthia, that great website that you mentioned, by all means, we'll start sharing. And I think our sharing will stimulate other people to share too. I think people feel they either feel down on themselves because they don't, they think that the detox police are watching them, or that they're going to be judged, or that they don't know how to do it. But if they feel supported, it would be great if we get everybody to stick with us. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank